.360 no scope. Get shitted on, noob. Ooh, yeah, you can't join my clan. Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today on Gamer Thumb, something that's very near and dear to my heart. I've been trying to get my hands on this thing for a long time. I'm very happy to bring it to you today. Because of that, we have to thank today's sponsor, Ms. Raya Armory, for loaning us this absolute force multiplier of a weapon, a true power weapon. Gentlemen, today we have the SRS 99 Charlie Series 2 anti-material rifle, affectionately known as the sniper rifle. Now, the SRS, or sniper rifle system, is essentially just a platform that can be quickly adapted to any kind of combat scenario you might be taking it into. It comes in many different configurations. This one's more of the basic package we'll be looking at today. It fires a 14.5 millimeter cartridge, fin stabilized, discarding sabot round. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do this the whole video. But I did build this Nerf gun, and if you started to think to yourself, "Oh no, another video essay about how good Halo Combat Evolved is," that's not what this is. I'm not educated enough to really delve into the game on that level, and it's already been done so well by so many people. I just want to talk about toys, specifically toys from Halo Combat Evolved, from my childhood. And this toy in particular, this is my first real Nerf modding project. I mean, we'll get into it. I've wanted this for a very, very long time. Ever since I played Halo Combat Evolved, I've wanted Nerf gun replica toys from the games. I don't know, I just feel like Halo Combat Evolved, specifically as an aesthetic language, as a design language, doesn't really get enough appreciation in the prop making and cosplay communities. So I just kind of want to talk about the process that went into designing and building this and sharing what I learned and what I love. A little bit about this, a little bit about Halo.
Mission 1. Here we go.
Oh, those boop beeps are such a good sound. So nostalgic.
Yep.
Howdy. Halo Combat Evolved is the first video game I can remember having a profound impact on the way I view the medium of interactive entertainment, i.e. video game. The graphics were, at the time, near photorealistic to my underdeveloped 7-year-old brain. I mean, the textures, even today, still kind of blow me away. At that point, my only frame of reference were games like Doom 2 and Tomb Raider and anything else on the PS1, like Vib Ribbon.
Yep. God, look at that fucking ring.
Alert! Covenant dropship inbound. They must be looking for survivors. I recommend
Still one of the best
immediate
things about
evasion.
the game, to be honest.
The environments in Halo Combat Evolved are so perfectly alien and mysterious and beg to be explored.
And they completely fucked it up in the new one.
The enemies were threatening and comedic at the same time.
Oh, come on.
And then halfway through the game, it shifts from being a sci-fi action power fantasy to struggle for survival horror FPS. I don't even gotta tell you how good the music is. The soundtrack to this game is Schedule 1 pure Kino. But in 2001, being a child, the thing I wanted most from Halo, besides my own big booba digital girlfriend, was toys. Now keep in mind, I was 7 years old when this game came out, and video games were just exploding in popularity.
I am the turret. Oh, I am.
as console hardware became more advanced and more affordable. And what kid doesn't want physical objects from some of their favorite things? And being a 7-year-old boy growing up in the United States, I was also obsessed with guns. Nerf guns at the time. And when I went to my local video game retailer one day and saw the first series of Halo Combat Evolved action figures by Joyride Studios, my mind immediately began to wander. These toys are great, and I do want them all. But if they could make toys of the characters, why couldn't they make toys of the gear, and the equipment, and the guns? And only 15 short years later, Boomco would do just that. Who was Boomco, you ask? That's what everybody says. But, it was at least something. And for a little while, these scratched the itch I'd tried to ignore for 15 years. But like with anything you daydream and fantasize about for that long, it rarely lives up to the insane hype of your childhood imagination. Honestly, my biggest complaint with these is that they're not Nerf. What is Boomco? Who is Boomco? What are these darts? You can't even buy these at most retailers, especially not now. Boomco's out of business. But I was mostly upset because back in 2015, 2016, me and my nerd friends were pretty into Nerf. So I decided I would just make my own Halo Nerf blaster based on this. The Nerf Centurion. Don't laugh.
It's the Mega Centurion. It is disappointment incarnate.
It ended up like this. Don't laugh. I superglued a spy toy night vision camera to the top of a Nerf Centurion, and I called that my Halo Nerf sniper rifle. And yes, it was fun to play with, but clearly there were improvements that could be made. Let's go back to Halo for a second, specifically the visual design of Combat Evolved.
It got so quiet.
Yeah, I know. It's got like that. Like, I still think like the biggest thing that surprised me about this series is just like, I feel like it's really inspired by Alien.
When this game came out in 2001, the relatively small game development studio Bungie was recently acquired by Microsoft. They were charged with creating a new franchise for the Xbox console and defining the landscape of what that hardware could provide for gamers. They wanted to go all in, but they were still a relatively small studio. And when a small creator has ambitions beyond their previous work, it's natural that they wear some inspiration on their sleeves, which can lead to some things feeling derivative or unoriginal, but if that inspiration is processed into fuel for creative energy rather than used as shortcuts, then it becomes something transformative that feels wholly original and at the same time familiar. This is how Halo can make you feel like you're watching the movie Aliens and openly reference Predator without seeming like a stinky little copycat. That inspiration is clear throughout what I'll refer to as the design philosophy for Halo Combat Evolved, and is the reason I still consider this game to be, if not the best in the series, at least the most consistent. Combat Evolved works as a standalone game. Cold open to open ending, it inspires enough mystery, establishes enough lore, and suggests at a much larger universe without ever getting bogged down in exposition. Looking at the landscapes, the color palette, the weather systems they decided to include, everything just feels so specifically, uniquely Halo. The design philosophy for Combat Evolved needs to quickly and easily delineate between human, Covenant, and Forerunner technology. To do this, Bungie designed a lot of the human, for example, structures, weapons, and armor to look like something that does or could exist. Human armor looks a lot like other Space Marine armor from pop culture. A little bit of Games Workshop, a little bit of James Cameron. James Cameron, if you will.
I think I really, really love the original armor. Like, it's probably one of my favorite design choices about this series.
Oh, I do too. It's one of mine too. But I also like the I don't know, the rounded.
And the Covenant are one of the most interesting alien antagonists I've ever seen from any piece of science fiction ever. Rather than being animalistic, aggressive beasts, they're a galactic melting pot of various races that use highly advanced technology in familiar combat roles with familiar combat tactics. They distinguish themselves with bright neon colors and energy-based weapons. The human weapons are designed with practicality in mind, with a healthy dose of sci-fi radness. Most of the human weapons have real-life counterparts. The Magnum, with its size and caliber, is basically just a snub-nosed Desert Eagle. The shotgun is just a shotgun, but upside down. The The sniper rifle is literally just a Denel NTW-20 with the magazine down here. And the human weapons and armor would go through the most drastic design changes throughout the series to further set themselves apart from their real-life counterparts. But I like these. These feel like they could already exist. And when I finally set out to build that perfect Halo sniper rifle blaster, I wanted to use the same design philosophy to fill in some of the gaps left by the early 6th gen graphics. That leads us, finally, to this. My Halo Combat Evolved Nerf... What? My Halo Combat Evolved Sniper Rifle Nerf Blaster. As I mentioned, I tried to make this once before, and I wouldn't call that one a massive failure.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
Functionally, it's the exact same as this, but physically, it needed a lot of work. I never really felt like I finished that project. I really wanted to do the game justice. Then, after Boomco released their line of Halo blasters, Nerf finally decided to step up for the release of Halo Infinite and gave us this. A full-size, official Nerf Halo assault rifle. And then later, probably the coolest Halo replica toy I've ever seen, with the Needler. Better late than never. This reignited the fire in me to finally finish my Nerf Halo sniper rifle and do it right this time. And in 2022, I pulled the proverbial trigger. And the literal one.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I wanted to use the same blaster as the first time, the Nerf Centurion, because it seemed poetic. It was the blaster that inspired this idea in me in the first place. But I didn't want to scrap that initial attempt. I like the iterative nature of the first draft existing side by side with what would be my true version of this blaster. Also, I didn't realize that Nerf had released this Nerf Fortnite heavy sniper rifle, and I thought that the Centurion was still the only Nerf Mega Springer rifle on the market. My goal for this was to make something that felt like it was pulled from the Halo universe into reality. Not exactly one-to-one with the first game's low polygon model, but a real version of the in-universe weapon system. Now, I took a lot of inspiration from the same source as the game designers, being the NTW-20, specifically the fluted quick change barrel, the gas block, and the carry handle. These are all recognizable parts of the game model, except for the barrel, which is smooth in Combat Evolved and fluted in Halo 2 and 3. It felt like a decision that would be made if the rifle were to be produced today. Because it was. Now, I tried to accomplish all of this with hand tools from my garage, some super glue, and whatever parts I could buy from the hardware store, but I very quickly realized I would greatly benefit from the use of modern technology to realize my childhood dreams. So I got myself a 3D printer. But, little hang up, I don't know how to use a 3D printer, or how to make 3D designs.
Oh.
So I spent a lot of time getting familiar with Tinkercad, and after a few test prints, I was getting the hang of it. Progress from here was pretty quick.
Art style will always hold out better than... I mean, you can see that if you press the select button.
Yes.
I want to mention something Adam Savage talks about on his YouTube channel, Tested. Adam makes a ton of stuff. Ever since his myth-busting days and before, he's been a brilliant maker and designer of objects and things. And something that he explains that's really stuck with me is the experience of an object. What sort of emotions does it elicit when you hold it? The experience of manipulating an object should feel right. Something can look a certain way, it can be a perfect visual replica, but if it doesn't feel right, then that's not a good experience. And I love that approach to creating something. And above all, that's what I wanted to accomplish with this, because that's what I think the designers of Halo Combat Evolved accomplished with their game. I wanted something that felt like what I imagined it would as a kid. And this ties into why Halo's design is so effective. It makes you feel exactly what it wants you to feel. The polygons and textures aren't the highest fidelity or quality, but they work perfectly together to create a feeling inside you that makes you believe in the world. Now back to the Nerf blaster. My favorite part of the original project was definitely the night vision scope. It was the only thing that was even remotely similar to the Halo sniper rifle, so that was definitely one of the most important pieces to include in this redesign. And lucky enough, Nerf had since released an official night vision scope. It's essentially the exact same toy that I used in the previous attempt, but this time in an official Nerf package, and it's only like 30 bucks on Amazon. With the scope purchased, I designed a shroud for it to match the silhouette of the game model and had a functional day-night vision variable zoom scope. I tried to make the carry handle from a single PVC water pipe, but no matter how I heated it up, it would kink and warp in unusable ways, so I just decided to print it, and that was that. The muzzle brake I designed to spec with similarly shaped real-world muzzle brakes and printed it in 2 parts so I could fit it perfectly to the end of the barrel and then epoxy it in place. The bipod was something I altered from a base design on Tinkercad. When I was putting this video together, I really wanted to give that original designer credit because this design is brilliant and it would have taken me forever to come up with something as simple and elegant as this. So if you're out there and you recognize your amazing handiwork, thank you for your service. The rest of this is pretty straightforward. I just wanted to share my thought process and inspiration for this project and show off what is probably the first and only Halo Combat Evolved Nerf sniper rifle blaster on the internet. It seems like most people in cosplay or prop making or even Nerf modding prefer the designs of Halo 3 or Halo Reach and beyond, but the look of the original is something that really speaks to me. And if this is something that speaks to you also and you'd like one of your own, I've compiled all the designs I made in Tinkercad and made one publicly available folder that you can access and print these yourself from home so you can have your very own Nerf Halo Combat Evolved sniper rifle. The link to that folder is in the description below. Halo Combat Evolved might just be my favorite game of all time. It's definitely up there. And the art of toy making and modeling is something I really want to show my appreciation for. Getting to have a personal experience with these objects from things that you love is really just priceless. While it may seem childish to some for a grown man to covet a toy so deeply, it's really just a human being looking for an experience. A very specific experience that satisfies a part of him he wishes he could be more in touch with. Anyway, thank you for watching.
Dude, I had so much fun playing through this game with you for the first time, and it's like there's so few of these like tentpole games that are as big as they are still to this day that are that new to you, to a person. Like the first time experience is so rare to have with something that's as classic as this.
Oh yeah, no, and it's honestly, I think it's, for me, it was like the best gaming experience I've had in years.
Me too, and it was
Which
like
is,
the 30th time I've played the game.
And I like, you know, I was not expecting that. And I was, you know, I thought, oh, it'd be cool, you know, and I was not like expecting it to be like as life changing as it was.
3, 2, go. Sorry, I couldn't hear you over the click of this thing.